Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, we're going to take a little departure from the bokeh. I still have the hexagon stencil to do, but I wanted to play with um, some gel plates. And I have these two. I do have a 12 by 12 one, but we're going to leave that at and use just the 5 by 7 and the 8 by 10 today. So I'm going to go ahead and use the 10 by 10, 8 by 10, excuse me, um, for our purposes for today, just to play with and show you how, well, most of us have re-inkers and things like that from our distress inks or oxides, and then we have a bunch in from 49 and Market, and I was like, well, let's just play with some of these. What would it do to use these on the gel plate? Now, I will tell you this. You can also use alcohol inks. Alcohol inks will stain the gel plate, but you can still clean it. It'll just leave like a tint of color, right? So we're going to start with these first two. And I liked, which one was this? Mint Chill and Lavender Kisses. That's what we're using from 49 and Market. These are the re-inkers. And I'm just taking some mixed media paper I have, and I'm cutting it down to be like card front sizes. So like 4.25 by 5.5. And then we're going to use those once we get the ink and stuff down. I do have my Breyers over on the left. And we're just going to go and put ink right to gel plate. Now, I would suggest next time, don't leave your the plastic on both sides. Go ahead and put it just straight down to the paper. You know what I mean? Only because it was moving around quite a bit, and I just think it would be better for more better control if you don't leave that plastic bit. Now, this is actually a piece of vellum, and I just wanted to test it real fast. I had put down a little bit of color, and it did pick up something. It's super light. We're going to add some more on it later, but I knew it was working, okay? So I was like, well, let me just put a little bit more down, and we'll go ahead and lay down our paper. And what I would suggest is once you put it down, give it a few seconds. You don't have to pull it up right away. Go ahead and let it actually absorb into the paper, and then peel it back. And you get, with the watercolors, I find you get this really unique pattern. Whereas with like some of the paints and stuff that you use, you get a much even, what's the word? Like an even spread of color. Whereas the watercolor, the re-inker, it's not even watercolor. It's dye ink, but it works like a watercolor, right? So it bubbles up. It doesn't go smooth on the actual gel plate, which is very interesting. This is the kind of stuff that you want to do when you get something like this. You just want to play, see how it goes, see how it reacts. I wanted to do something a little bit darker, so I put down I want to say it's the Arctic Blitz, which was a nice deep blue, and you can see the texture even from the Breyer. And when I lay it down, just for a few seconds, just to let it absorb some of that ink. If you have a thing about messy fingers, you may not want to play with this, or make sure you get gloves because it can be messy. I like how that one turns out. I like the texture. That's what I was referencing with my fingers there. So pretty. And then I grabbed this longer piece that I had, and I just wanted to like kind of clean up the gel plate, right? I'm just trying to take off as much as I can. And I was like, oh, that's cute. But like stuff like this, you can create, and then you can punch stuff out with it. Use your circle punches or what other shape punches you have, and use it to layer up. You can add stencil work on top. Now on here, I did take some hand sanitizer, and I'm just using it to kind of clean off the gel plate. And I found also too, I have a spray that I use for like my stamp cleaning or brush cleaning, and it worked on the gel plate as well. You'll see me spray it later on, but this is the speckled egg oxide, and we're gonna lay that down. Now this one wound up being super light, and I was just trying to get some of that spray off of my brayer. And I just wanted to see how it was going to work. So that one, it isn't a bad place to start, but if you use lighter inks, obviously the goal is to keep building up on it. Whereas if you go darker, which reminded me, I decided not to use the lumberjack. Oh no, that one was fried brick. I grabbed some of the blue because remember we had to use some of that darker blue. So this one was a Heidi Swapp blue that I used. It's called navy basically, but it has a little bit of shimmer to it. And so I grabbed my little brayer and just used it to kind of roll on the back. And you can do it either way. You can use a brayer, you can just use your hands. And you can see it created just like a really neat texture on that. And then on that lighter one, I was like, you know what? Let me grab that back and we'll just start picking up some of it. So that's another layer, right? And then we can do other stuff on top of it. And then I was thinking, what about if we did the whole thing with saltwater taffy? Because this is the Distress Ink Saltwater Taffy Reinker. I was like, what would that look like? Will it come out more red or would it be pink? You know, we don't know. So let's try it. Put down our paper again. And whatever happens to the back sides of these, it doesn't matter because no one's going to see it anyway. But I just liked using this little brayer to like really press down. And again, you get those neat textures. And on that one, this is one of the really weird texture ones, and I just added the pink elements to it. I liked how that turned out. And then I thought, what about the spritz? Let's see, what would the spritz do if we were to spray the back with that and then put our papers down? Just to like, basically the idea is like creating a base paper. So if you like creating layouts, whatever size layout that you normally, create, whether it be 6x8 or 8x10 like this, or 12x12, you just want to create a background that you would then build up from, right? And sometimes they do a lot of different techniques right here on the gel plate. I've seen Sandy Allnock. She did a whole, it looked like a freaking painting. It was stunning on the gel plate. So I'm going to tell you, I am not the end all be all by any means. There's so many techniques that you can do. I just know for me, what works is creating basically backgrounds for me to decorate off of. I'm still learning. I still have to take, I have a class from Vicki Boutin that I want to take to learn even more. Of course, work kind of keeps you away from that because you have other obligations as well. So someday, I already have it bought. I'm gonna do the the actual class, and hopefully I'll be able to bring back some more stuff for you guys as to what we can do and what we can play with, how we can play with our gel plates even more. But for right now, this is what works for me as far as if I'm using the reinkers and stuff like that. The next time that we play with it, I will try and use the paints. Here, I was trying to get my, usually what happens when you go to clean your gel plate at the end, you use either white acrylic paint or black acrylic paint. and you put it over top and you let it dry. And then when you put your paper down on top of it and peel it back, it cleans the actual plate, right? So like at the end, there wouldn't be much for you to have to clean up. Well, my sprayer wasn't working. This is from Dina Wakley, and it's a gloss spray, but it's glossy acrylic spray. So I was like, well, this is acrylic. Maybe this would do something similar, but I just went a little bit too, I think, heavy-handed with putting it down because the spray wasn't working. And of course, yeah, exactly. So once I got that cleared out, I'm going to go ahead and place my paper down on top. And I'm just going to clean my brayer using the backside because at this point, I'm like, I got to get this ink off, right? Because acrylic paint, I mean, it'll dry and it could be permanent. So while I'm letting the ink and the paint and everything absorb into the paper, I'm cleaning off the brayer so I can get that acrylic paint off. And that's the brush spray I was telling you about that I use to, it's from Brutus Monroe and Pink and Maine. And I got it from my little scrapbook store. I don't know if they still have it out or if Michelle still sells it in her store, but that's where I got it. And then once that's clean, I'm like, well, that's been sitting long enough. Now we can try and peel it back. And you can see how most of whatever was on there came through. The only thing was some of that white seeped underneath and got on the wood grain paper. So I'm just going to lay it down and try and pull up a little bit more. But it's hard to see on here, but it gives that a really nice shimmer. So on a 12 by 12, that would be a good base, you know. We can maybe add some more sprays, do some smooshing techniques on top of it, and really create a nice, you know, possible layout with that. So now again, with the hand sanitizer, I'm just going to quickly clean. And I realized that that have fallen in between. I'm like, oh, fantastic. So next time, I'm not going to leave that on. I was like, really? Okay, T. But I really do enjoy, I like playing with the gel plates. It bothers me because I'm like, I know there's so much more to learn, you know, to do. Putting stencils on the gel plate, adding color, removing color, sort of using it like a reversed stencil or reverse image. There's so much. And definitely check out Vicki Boutin. You could just go to her YouTube channel and type in gel plate. I'm sure a bunch of videos will come up. And if you're really into the more artistic side, check out Sandy Allnock. I'm telling you, you will be blown away. So with these two, I'm not going to do all the pieces that we did today, but on these two, I'm going to grab two of these stencils. These are the collaboration ones that Vicki Boutin did with Sizzix. And I'm just going to put some color down. This one is Stormy Sky. And I'm just putting it kind of like on the bottom. But you can see here we're layering up. And then on this one, we're going to use Cracked Pistachio. And hindsight being 2020, I probably should have used a color that was completely opposite. Like maybe even Black Soot or something like that. Because I could see it, but it was super light after the first go around, I guess you would say. And you'll see here in a second because I do hold it up so you can kind of see it. But it's really faint. You can see some texture, but not a whole lot. So I was like, well, maybe I just need to press down a little bit harder. And then I was also thinking, well, maybe I could just put some of the darker blue, like the Stormy Sky blue, through some of the image. Maybe it would help it pop. And I just call myself, I'm like lining back up and pressing a little bit harder with the ink that's already on there. and just trying to add some color so that way in certain areas it will have a little bit more of a pop. And then I hold it up here so you can see it. And now you can see that stenciled pattern. And you could just keep layering. Like, what if we did a little bit of heat embossing on it? You know what I mean? That could be fun too. And then I'm just putting a little bit more of that color all over the entire front. Trying to make sure I put down a dark amount of the color so it actually stands out. Yeah, I think that's funky. That's funky. I really matched that color really well. That was crazy how close that color was to each other. I think if I were to do it again, like I said, try a different color on top, something to help it, you know, kind of stand out. So I hope you guys enjoy it. This is just the beginning. We're going to keep playing with this over time. This is one of those ones where, you know, you put it down and then you pick it back up again. Okay. So thanks for hanging out. I will see you guys with our next video. And I really, truly hope you have a great day. Bye, everyone.